The name Cleopatra, we see one, the last, but this name is heavier. 7 queens bore it, 7 Cleopatras, and every one paid the price, a price in blood, a price in power. The name that meant glory of the father became a scar on the dynasty. This is not the story of one woman. It is the story of how a name became doom. This is not the Egypt we know. This is not Cairo. This is Alexandria. The 2nd century BC, a world of Macedonian kings in Syria and Egypt, a world of Greek steel and ancient gods. And it all began with stability, with Cleopatra I, known as Syra. She was an outsider, not Egyptian, a Greek princess from Syria. She was married to King Ptolemy V. At that moment, she was an injection of foreign, healthy blood, a pause in the sickness already living in this line. When her husband died, she ruled as regent. For the first time since the pharaohs, Egypt was ruled by a woman. She ruled with caution, with fairness, and her reign became a rare moment of clarity. Her children could have inherited this peace, but they chose something else. They returned to the ancient law. A pharaoh's blood had to stay pure. Brother marries sister, mirroring Osiris and Isis. To the Greeks, it was unthinkable, but the Ptolemies embraced this law, not for faith, for control. Only those born within the family could claim the throne. And so, Cleopatra II became wife to her own brother. It wasn't a sin, it became the law. Cleopatra II married her brother, Ptolemy VI. He died, fighting in Syria, and the throne passed to their son, a boy ruled by his regent mother. But her brother, Ptolemy VIII Physcon, the Paunch, saw his chance. He brought mercenaries and demanded the throne. Cleopatra II made a deal to save the city. She would marry the brother and her dead husband's brother. But Physcon did not want to share power with his nephew. He eliminated him. The legend says, in his mother's arms, during the wedding feast. Then Physcon took her daughter as a wife, Cleopatra III, his own niece, mother and daughter sharing one throne and one husband. But Cleopatra II rose against him. Physcon fled, and she declared their son, Ptolemy Memphis, the king. Physcon answered from Cyprus. He lured the son to his side and sent him to his mother as a gift on her birthday, his own son. It was a manifesto. Blood means nothing. Only power matters. But this did not break Cleopatra II. The war continued. Years later, Physcon returned. He retook Alexandria. Now she was forced to flee. She had lost, and she yielded. She returned because without power, she was no one, and shared the throne again. The mother, the daughter, and Physcon. This was the generation of kings who forgot the legacy, the generation that began the ruin of the dynasty. Cleopatra III learned her lesson. She grew up in this house. She saw how power worked. The throne was not just a symbol, it was the goal, the meaning of her life. She ruled through her sons. Between their lives and their obedience, she chose obedience. Her daughters, they were not family. They were pawns on a game board, moved ruthlessly by their mother for power. The sisters became the weapons their mother forged, and they turned those weapons on each other. Cleopatra Tryphena, she was given to a Syrian king. She ordered her own sister, Cleopatra IV, eliminated, and ended her life by her sister's husband's hand. The blood was avenged. Cleopatra IV, she was strong. She was defiant. she became a threat to her brother husband and to her own mother, and her brother husband exiled her for an alliance with their mother. She fled, she raised an army, and she was eliminated in Syria by order of her sister Tryphena on the steps of a sacred temple. Cleopatra Selene I, she was the obedient one. Her mother married her to the elder brother, then to the younger, then gave her to the king of Syria. Her crown was just a decoration. She was not a queen, but a prize, the symbol of the right to rule. In Syria, she was passed from one king to his brother king to her stepson. She fought desperately for survival. She became a real strong queen, but it was too late. The Seleucid Empire had collapsed. The kingdom was gone. She was captured by the Armenian king, and the queen was eliminated. It was the bitter fate of a puppet who became human just as the world died. In the end, the son, the younger one, the favorite one, the obedient one, made his mother, Cleopatra III, pay with her life. The war that Cleopatra III began consumed her. Her favorite son, Ptolemy X, eliminated her because she was in the way. And then he married his elder brother's daughter, his own niece, Cleopatra Berenike III, and she chose him, her husband, against her father. But Ptolemy X died in the war, and her father, Ptolemy IX, returned. He won, but he forgave his daughter. He made her co-ruler and left her the throne. The people of Alexandria loved her. She was the hope for a quiet life. But Rome was already the master. Rome did not need a beloved queen. Rome wanted control. They sent Ptolemy XI, a Roman puppet. Rome forced Berenike to marry him. The marriage lasted 19 days. Ptolemy XI ordered her eliminated. He didn't understand. She was the living Isis. He was the outsider. And the people of Alexandria dragged him from the palace and literally tore him apart. The direct line was broken. The Egyptians summoned the bastard, Ptolemy XII. He came to continue the line. He had 3 daughters. He gave them the names of the great queens of old, Berenike, Cleopatra, Arsinoe. He hoped the names would bring glory, but they brought only doom. All 3 daughters would meet a tragic end. Ptolemy XII was called the flute player because he was weak, worthless, cowardly. He paid Rome to let him be king. He lost gold, he lost lands, he lost respect. The people of Alexandria despised the coward. They exiled him and put on the throne his eldest daughter, Berenike IV. Ascending the throne, she took the name Cleopatra, the greatest in the dynasty. But the flute player took back the throne. He borrowed huge sums from Rome to overthrow his daughter and brutally erase her from history forever. His wife was Cleopatra V. The chaos became fog. The dynasty was collapsing so fast, the records are broken. Historians still aren't sure, where did Cleopatra V go? Was Cleopatra VI the same woman, or a shadow? The name Cleopatra still lived, but it no longer meant anything. Thus the dynasty withered. Power was no longer in Alexandria. It was in Rome. All that was left was the final act. And this final act had a name, Cleopatra VII. But before she became queen, she went through a school of humiliation. When her father, the flute player, fled Egypt, he took her with him to Rome. There, Cleopatra saw the underbelly of power. She saw her father's humiliation, how he begged senators, how he prayed, how he borrowed money to buy his life back. She saw real power, Rome holding their fates in its fist. And she learned hate for the sister, Berenike, who betrayed them. It was there, in the shadow of Roman porticos, she became his favorite, not by birthright, by right of loyalty. Two against the world, father and daughter. And when the flute player returned, when Roman swords gave him back his throne, and when Berenike's head rolled from her shoulders, he had no doubts. The throne went to the one who had walked through hell with him. In 51 BC, she took the throne. She inherited ruins, her father's deaths, and the people's hatred. She was the daughter of the bastard, and perhaps a bastard herself. Historians still argue, was she legitimate, or, like her sister Arsinoe, the child of a concubine? But it didn't matter. She was the perfect Ptolemy. She was smarter than all of them. She spoke 9 languages, and she had learned every bloody lesson of her house. She knew Physcon's lesson. Family is a threat. Her brother husband, Ptolemy XIII, challenged her. She did not seek peace. She brought legions and destroyed him. Then came the second brother, Ptolemy XIV. The moment she bore a son, the brother became redundant, and he conveniently died, poisoned. Sister eliminated brother. She knew the dynasty's lesson. Pity is death. Her sister Arsinoe was hiding in a sacred temple, but Cleopatra considered her a threat. She forced the Romans to drag her sister from the sanctuary. Arsinoe was eliminated on the altar steps. Just like her ancestors, Cleopatra stepped over the gods. She knew Cleopatra III's lesson. Power is a cold game. Rome was a predator. She decided to buy the predator. The legendary carpet. That was not seduction. That was a deal. She invested in Caesar, and she produced Caesarion, the son of Julius Caesar, a living ultimatum to Rome. And when Caesar fell, she did not panic. She simply reinvested. Her new bet was Mark Antony. Was it romance? Or was it just a backup plan? A Roman sword that she bought to protect the throne? We will never know. She made this broken machine work, but she was playing against history. Defeat by Octavian at the Battle of Actium, Antony took his own life. When Alexandria fell, she made her final move. The living embodiment of Isis refused to become Rome's humiliated trophy. According to legend, she let an asp touch her skin. She died as a queen, the last, the great. After the fall, Octavian was methodical. Caesarion, the weapon against Rome, he was found and erased from history. Antony's children were taken to Rome, paraded through the streets as trophies. The boys, they simply vanished, absorbed by the shadows of Rome. Only one survived, the daughter, Cleopatra Selene II. She would rule a distant kingdom, a shadow of her mother's world. The bloodline endured, but the name Cleopatra was gone forever. But that is another story.